Hello, my name is Jeff Rolka. Thank you for checking out my video. I had a request for, and this is specifically what the request said, minor pentatonic scales over major chords. And I started to think about it, and I sort of noodled around a little bit, and I thought it was really cool and really fun to play around with it. And it also creates an opportunity for me to talk about context in music. Now, I'm not going to talk very much. I have structured this as a singing practice. It's kind of warm-up-y like, but it's really going to cover two key areas. One that's going to be easier for maybe some of the lower mid-rangier voices, and one that's going to be a little bit more appropriate for the higher kinds of voices and things like that. Though, of course, you can feel free to try both of them. We're going to go through a minor pentatonic scale, and I've got 3 different chord changes. I'm going to sing A and Ah. You can certainly choose whatever vowels suit you best. Before we get started, thank you if you have chosen to subscribe. If you haven't yet, I hope you'll do so now. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters who keep this whole train running. If you want to get these practices as PDFs and or as MP3s, head on over to Patreon and you can avail yourself to your heart's content. One of the most amazing things about the Western tonal system of music, which is what we're kind of working with here, for the most part, is context. Context is everything when it comes to music. Let me show you what I mean. Here is a pentatonic scale, the sort of basic starting point. Really straightforward. There's just 5 different notes. F, G, A, C, D, and then we get to F, and we could repeat up and down to our heart's content. And the most basic form of the minor pentatonic starts this from D. And from there, we can start to explore different colors and things like that based upon the context that we're going to put it in. So the first set of chord changes strictly are adhering to the idea of major chords over this minor pentatonic scale. We're going to use the 1 chord, the 5 chord, and the 4 chord in that order. It sounds like this. Try it with me, and on your own, and more time, and now, I don't know exactly what the request was asking for. It just said minor pentatonic scale with major chords. So, if we stay in this diatonic setting, which this is all diatonic to F major, and I start on the 6th chord, 2 of the 3 chords will be major, but the first one's minor, and it changes the way this sounds. Listen to it here. And let's sing along with this one. And A, ah, A, ah, A, ah, A, ah. You try it. And more time. And now there's one more setting that I'm going to do here where all of the chords that I will play will be major. In fact, we would make them dominant sevenths, generally speaking, but I'm going to keep them major just for our purposes here because voicings get a little bit muddy over there on the left-hand side of the piano. But that would be a more blues scale kind of setting. And so here we would do 1, 4, 5, 1. And again, we can sing that same minor pentatonic scale over it. It's only one note away from the blues scale anyway, but you're going to hear that it's going to clash a lot more, and you'll really hear those blue notes when we get to, well, for example, in the 1 chord, where you have that major third versus the minor third, and in the 5 chord, where the third of the 5 chord, which is the 7th scale degree, that is going to clash by semitone as well. It's really pretty, and it has a very characteristic sound. So, it sounds like this. Let's sing our vowels. And A, ah, A, ah, A, ah, A, ah. And again. Try it. And more time. And so let's move this whole practice up into an area that might be a little bit more comfortable for higher voiced vocalists. Here, and just for the record, I didn't specifically choose this key because, again, in my right hand it's pretty easy to play, but it is kind of nice that it worked out that way. So, here's the scale. And some of you might sing it in an octave, others of you might sing it A, or A, ah. we can begin again in those diatonic keys. You try it. And more time. And now beginning from the 6th chord. And again. Now we go to the 4 chord. One more time. You try it. And more time. And then finally, that bluesier kind of setting where we're here in A major. And if you'd like to follow along, you can do so here. And your turn. And more time. And more time, maybe? And... And there you go. Great suggestion. Thank you. I don't usually identify the people that make these suggestions. Feel free to identify yourself in the comments if you wish. It was a great suggestion. I had a super fun time thinking about it. Really fun time getting ready for this. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's helpful and all that kind of stuff. Thank you all the rest of you for watching, taking part in the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. I really appreciate the support. It truly helps. If you haven't yet chosen to subscribe, I hope that you'll choose to do so now. And until next time, I will say thank you one last time. Take really good care of your voices, enjoy singing, and hopefully we will see you again. Bye.